Welcome to episode 2 of Joystick Maverick. It's me, your host, Ernie Hawkins, joined always by Dominic Irvin. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. This feels weird still because I'm
Just a
talking
bit.
to a little eyeball thing on my computer, but I know you can hear me, so that's good news. I'm loving the backgrounds. We're synced up. It's like we're there together, but we're not.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd much rather be in the same room with you, but, pandemic and all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get political, but I'm getting my shot on Thursday. Well, I don't know if I'm getting the Johnson & Johnson, the one that doesn't make your eyes water, or like I'm getting the twofer. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
I get mine on Wednesday, so hey.
What? You beat me? You beat me to it? No.
Yeah, I get mine on Wednesday.
Michelle got hers scheduled last Friday for this coming Friday. I was like, all right, so if I get mine scheduled on Monday today, there's no way I'm going to get it before Friday. Boom, got mine scheduled for this Thursday. I'm sitting there, my arms in the air. I look at her, I'm like, she's like, yeah, it was a great day. It was wonderful.
Nice.
Good stuff. Well, let's kick things off. We don't have too big a list this time. Last time we had two big topics: the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then of course the Snyder Cut. This time we're kicking things off with something more centric to the name of this program, Joystick Maverick.
Yeah.
So at least we're going to kick it off with some video games. I have not had a chance to play this yet, but I've seen it. Just the Twitter sphere is a buzz about it. It Takes Two. It's actually from Hazelight in combination or in co-op with EA, which I think kind of gives it a bad name, good name. The synopsis for it is kind of, I didn't read it, if I'm being totally honest, until we started talking about it a little bit earlier off camera. But yeah, I was so excited to play. Like I saw the crisp graphics, the environments look really kind of fun and bubbly. And then, it's like, oh man, Michelle can actually play this game with me. And I was going to really be excited about it until you were like, wait, this is about a divorce? And I said, huh? and now I'm looking at hazelight.se, so you guys can all read it out there along with me. But it says, bring your favorite co-op partner and together step into the shoes of May and Cody. As the couple is going through a divorce through unknown means, that their minds are transported into two dolls which their daughter Rose made to represent them. Now they must reluctantly find a way to get back into their bodies, a quest which takes them through the most wild, unexpected, and fantastical journey imaginable. It still sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But right before I'm about to have a baby, I don't even want the D word coming up. Okay? There's only one big D, and it ain't divorce. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
I will say, I was reading about this on IGN.com, and like the first comment on the review is like, me and my wife are going through a terrible divorce, and we watched this game and it like actually helped, and we're reconciling. And I'm like, okay, what? Like,
how much did they pay that guy for that? Like,
right? Yeah, I mean, you read stuff like that, and some of that's true, but most of that is just
yeah, it feels like a commercial for like fibromyalgia. Like, these are not actors. BS.
Right.
I've seen that person on AT&T and on Verizon. I know that that's an actor. What are you talking about?
I had drinks with that person.
Yeah, and he didn't have fibromyalgia or this game or divorce. But yeah, so I still want to play it. It looks pretty awesome. What was the grade that IGN gave it?
9.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Holy crap.
It's a
So it just dropped 3 days ago on the 26th. So I mean, I think this is one of those going grabs, especially like right now we're kind of in a lull. I think of video games, there's a bunch that usually comes out, at least from my recollection. And this is another reason we started the show, is because I'm so out of the loop of video games. It used to be like the big names came out in like fall into the winter for the holiday season. So I feel like this is kind of a big get you through the spring. I mean, even the front of it's got flowers and dandelions and things like that, and a Rubik's Cube. That doesn't say, March, April, May, then nothing else does.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point about release schedules. I mean, especially with COVID going on, everything's been delayed by years out. I mean, in movies too. I mean, movies have been delayed. Look at Marvel coming out and saying all of their movies have been pushed back. Everything's coming to VOD now, with all of Warner Brothers stuff's going to HBO. But you're right. How we know games to come out is that you get your Call of Duties and your Halos and your Mass Effects and your Assassin's Creeds, all from like end of August to November. And then you have a lull at the end of the year. And then in spring, you get some stuff. Devil May Cry 5 came out, about 2 years ago in spring, which is a big title. But games like these are kind of interspersed, which is awesome. I love the idea of couch co-op kind of coming back in an
Couch
art form.
co-op.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, I have siblings. I have, you know, younger brothers and younger sisters, and my oldest younger brother and I mean, play N64 for, you know, eons and Sega Genesis, and we would play Banjo-Kazooie co-op and GoldenEye and all of that, where you actually were sitting in the room with someone and you're not talking through a computer screen or through you know, Xbox Live or PlayStation.
Right.
And a lot of games, I mean, Halo caught a whole bunch of hell for it, for getting rid of couch co-op. I mean, that's what that game was made off of, was sitting with your friend in a room. And it's nice to see that games are starting to embrace that again, especially with things like the Switch and the you know, the motion controls with that, kind of taking what the Wii did and making it better.
Yeah, I have to wholeheartedly agree, man. I think that's one of the biggest things that I missed from when I was a kid. To your point, is it was like Christmas Eve. My cousin would come over and we would try to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game basically on NES, and we would never beat it. But like, I think it was 7 Christmases in a row, well into Super Nintendo years, that we never beat the end of that game. I still don't know what happens at the end of that game, but I miss those moments. I even like shooting college, just running Cat 5 cable all the way up the stairs. So you couldn't possibly be screen gazing. And then somehow somebody would say you still were, like, oh, there's a mirror on the across the street, you know, whatever it was. Like, and then getting mad at people just because they didn't trust that you weren't somehow using aimbot or something in an era where that didn't exist. I missed those little bits of moments of being together. And to your point, just kind of being on the couch side by side and really putting in the
Mario Party. Like Mario Party in its like essence is the couch co-op king. I mean, 4 or 5 friends over, have a couple beers, have a couple cocktails, and make fun of each other.
Yeah, and then threaten to beat each other's butts when that time comes. You know, it's, if you're not, I feel like being online and being away from each other, it's just like it just like it always has been. You know, when you're not sitting side by side, you know, it feels very cold. The threats don't even kind of hit right. You're always just like, yeah, whatever, jabroni. Like, or just saying some really ridiculous things into that microphone. But when you're side by side, the camaraderie's there, the blood, sweat, the tears, and the beer.
You also got to be careful, because you can't just say whatever you want with a person.
I mean,
you got to be prepared to throw hands.
Yeah, well, yeah, and now you got to be even more careful if you're streaming. You can't just be dropping any kind of comments. I mean, how many people recently have already gotten their sponsorships dropped for just saying the most asinine things?
Yeah, so, I mean, NBA player dropping stupid stuff on the internet gets completely canceled. PewDiePie's done it. Ninja's done it. Literally everybody in the game has done it at least once, and it's not easy to recover from something like that.
No, it's not. I mean, hopefully they grow up as a person and, you know, can move on and lose those things from their vernacular.
Yeah.
But you know, those are the days. Miss them. I miss the days. I miss the days of being 13, fighting my next door neighbor's older stepbrother who was always bigger than us, and actually winning in Mortal Kombat with a fatality, having no idea how I did it. I'm just grabbing buttons and smashing, and then fatality. Man, oh, Ernie's the cool next door kid. I just moved in. You know, years later, we're all still friends. That's the bond I wish that our kids, as they grow up, kind of get that same kind of generational feel. Just building it together in the same room, not too far away from each other.
Absolutely.
The next up topic, we're going to be talking about some casting news. So it's trickled in over the past week or so. The big one was today was Obi-Wan Castings. The other, if you want to break those down real quick, I'd love to kick that off. It just happened 5-6 hours ago.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan, the entire Obi-Wan cast was announced. My guess is there's going to be some cameos and everything in there. But top billing, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen coming back. Ewan McGregor's been pretty much confirmed since Obi-Wan was incepted, which is awesome. Hayden Christensen was rumored, also confirmed earlier, coming back as Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, which is going to be incredible. I'm super excited for that. But we do have some names on here. So Joel Edgerton and Bonnie, I'm sorry, I'm going to just butcher this, Pice, who are Star Wars alums. They both played a younger version of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. As you know, Luke Skywalker's aunt and uncle from Attack of the Clones. We also have our man from Silicon Valley, who's also going to be in Eternals, Kumail Nanjiani, who is jacked.
Crushing it, man. He's crushing it.
Yeah, pretty much did the Chris Pratt transformation in a year and is now just jacked. We also have Indira Varma, who's a British actress. She's most known for being Ilaria Sand from Game of Thrones. Yep. But she's also been on a lot of British TV, BBC TV, most famously for being Luther's wife in the show Luther with Idris Elba.
Yeah,
and then
I
we
didn't even catch that her counterpart in Game of Thrones, of course, is the Mandalorian.
Right, Oberyn Martell. Yeah, Pedro Pascal,
so,
who's my now favorite actor right now. He's incredible. Awesome. He can do no wrong in my eyes. I also used to call him the Spanish Jeremy Renner, but that's doing Pedro Pascal a disservice. I would call Jeremy Renner the Spanish, the white Pedro Pascal. And then we have rounding out some of the more known actors, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son, played him in Straight Outta Compton. Incredible. And then we have Sung Kang, our boy from Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, the beloved Han. And then we have Rupert Friend, a actor who's I've only seen him as Agent 47 in Hitman, not the Timothy Olyphant one, the sequel that wasn't a sequel.
Right, he was also in the show Homeland as one of the agents for the CIA or something like that. He was a part of that show. Really great job in that show, kind of being conflicted about being this kind of I'll call him a badass, because at least in the show we're pretty badass. I didn't finish the series, but the parts that he was in, pretty great.
Nice. Simone Kessel is next up. She's only done a few things. She's relatively new, has been in a few episodes of TV. The only TV show that I recognize that she was in Reaper. I don't know if you remember that show with Nick Swartzen, who was the son of the devil. It was done by Kevin Smith. It was terrible. I watched all of it.
I gotta look this up. Reaper?
Yeah, Reaper. Look up the show. I think you can watch it on Hulu or something. It's hilarious.
What if I can watch this show? Kevin Smith and Nick Swartzen? That's so weird.
And then Benny Safdie, who's actually not an actor. He is a director and directed Uncut Gems, most notably.
Random. So random.
Yeah.
The Uncut Gems, I mean, that guy basically, with that movie, he can do no wrong, right? Like, I mean,
that was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just I even just now, whenever I see like the picture of Adam Sandler, I think he's got like a toilet paper in his nose, it's all bleeding or whatever, and just that whole movie from end beginning, I felt anxious,
stressed, and like I was gonna say that I was stressed out the whole time, and like it's funny when I think of like how that feels. Like you feel like you're almost paranoid and constantly you're conscious of the way you feel. Like a great way that I kind of associate with that is the way Jon Favreau made me feel in Swingers, when he's on the phone trying to talk to that chick who just isn't picking up, and he keeps leaving her message after message. Speaking of Swingers, this is a great transition. Ron Livingston was in Swingers, correct? I'm fairly certain. We got one more for Obi-Wan real quick.
Oh, okay. On this one? My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Moses Ingram, I saved her for last because she's third billing on this unknown role. The only thing that I recognize that she's been in is the Queen's Gambit. She was in the Queen's Gambit with I always forget her name.
That's what she's from.
Yeah. And she tweeted or posted on Instagram this picture, the picture of all of them in cast, and said, "I play with lightsabers." So a lot of people are kind of inferring that she might be a younger Ahsoka Tano. We know that Ahsoka Tano was casted by Rosario Dawson in The Mandalorian, which was incredible. She did an exceptional job. But this is supposed to be taking place relatively before that, with Ewan McGregor coming back as an older Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. So we know it takes place before Return of the Jedi. So
that would be pretty incredible. I mean, granted, like Ahsoka Tano, her character she seems to age really gracefully. She's not aging very quickly, and I think the way that like even Clone Wars and those kind of like animated shorts have really made her age she doesn't really jump too far, even when you get to like the later kind of into it, past the original trilogy. So like I really think even if she was to play that role, she could do a really great job stepping in those shoes and really fulfilling that character and making that, helping us transition in a live action form from say the Mandalorian's rendition of that character to maybe an earlier state.
Right.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
I'm stoked about who she might end up playing. Another option might be Asajj Ventress from Clone Wars. The Night, she was not a Night Sister. She worked with the Night Sisters, but that's a whole. She was the dual wielding red lightsaber apprentice of Count Dooku.
That would be cool. Yeah,
she would be cool too. So you brought up Ron Livingston.
Badass.
So you brought up.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got distracted.
No, it's okay. You brought up Ron Livingston.
I'm just sitting here imagining like the dual wielding. I mean, if they could bring Rosario against her, that would be like
yeah, that would be.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. All right, so Ron Livingston, bringing it full circle. Ron Livingston has actually been cast to replace Billy Crudup, whatever his name is, as Henry Allen in the DCEU. I have absolutely no idea why. I don't know if Billy was like, I'm out. It's been too long. I've got another role. Timing just doesn't work. But how big of a role can Henry Allen take in The Flash when he's in prison? He's not going anywhere.
Right.
Like he's stuck. It's not like he's suddenly popping out and going, haha, just kidding. I'm not in jail anymore. No. I mean, but why? A, that's a pretty hard swap. B, completely different looking dude. No offense to Ron Livingston, but Billy Crudup, it's got that jawline. A lot of people just ain't got it. I mean, maybe a Matt Balmer could have slipped in. It would have been like, all right, cool. Flashpoint, maybe younger somehow. Yeah, like maybe an age drop I would have went with, but like Ron Livingston, completely different. I'm sitting here just trying to like retrace steps in the last couple of things I've seen Ron Livingston in, and like the biggest one that comes out to me is like Band of Brothers from 2001. It's been a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. So let's do a little Flash history lesson real quick, and why Henry Allen could be such a pivotal character in the movie.
Is this going to be a flash fact for me? You bet a flash fact?
Little flash facts for you. But first of all, let's talk about Billy Crudup. So Billy Crudup is no stranger to the DC universe. He was Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen.
These are facts.
So he was Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. So he's no stranger to that universe. And my guess is he probably dropped out. It's been years. That Flashpoint movie was supposed to come out in like 2018. So
that's very true.
Henry Allen's in jail for killing his wife, supposedly, when Barry Allen was a child. And when Barry Allen was a child, he saw yellow streaks. There was a lightning storm. His mother ended up dead. Henry Allen was charged for the murder. Flashpoint. Flashpoint is when, and this is what we've been confirmed that this is what the movie's off. My guess is that they're going to do a lot of artistic liberties with it. There might be some major changes, but my guess is what's going to happen is Barry Allen, you watch the Justice League Snyder cut, Barry Allen went back in time to stop the Unity from happening.
Yep.
So we already know that time travel exists inside of the DCEU. In Flashpoint, Barry Allen says, I'm going to go back and save my mom. And what he does is he goes back in time and saves his mom from Professor Zoom. Professor Zoom is the other speedster from the Speed Force, who's kind of like the reverse Flash, who actually killed Nora Allen. By him saving his mom, his dad's never thrown in prison. Also, by him saving his mom, it has a huge cascading effect on the DC universe.
Right.
Most notably between Bruce Wayne. So what happens in Flashpoint, and I'm hoping that they do this, in spoilers for anybody who just doesn't want to know anything about Flashpoint, but
it's been out for a while.
Right. When Barry Allen goes back, saves his mom, essentially what happens is in the alleyway with Joe Chill, Bruce gets killed, not his parents. And then what that does is it makes his mom lose it and become the Joker. And it makes his dad become Batman, who's like, I'm going to kill everybody, Batman. And we know that Jeffrey Morgan's in the movie.
With guns. Now we get to see Negan, hopefully, with a bat suit and guns.
Yeah.
He's the complete opposite. All those rules don't matter. He's a doctor by trade who just turns into a vigilante who not only can shoot him up, but he knows where it hurts, and he takes his time.
Right. I'm super excited. My guess is Henry Allen, Ron Livingston coming in as Henry Allen. You're right. I haven't seen him in anything since Band of Brothers, and before that, I only know him from Office Space as Peter.
Yeah, we're going from Almost Famous to Office Space. It's a slight difference.
So he'll play a role. Henry Allen has never been really a major player in that universe. If you watch the Flash TV show, Henry Allen was played by the original Flash.
I love it.
From
I love
the 80s TV show. He played Jay Garrick.
Such a good callback.
Yeah. And then he ended up coming back as Jay Garrick in the show, which was even more incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. I'm more excited for the next casting that we're going to talk about.
Yes. So this was announced, I think, either last night, right? Last night or Saturday.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan has been cast as Dr. Fate in Black Adam. So already we're stoked. Black Adam is still on track for July 29th, 2022.
They just now we're getting that at the final date. Yeah, The Rock did that and blacked out Times Square, which is pretty dope.
It's fire, man. I love that. And now they've cast Pierce Brosnan, James Bond as Fate, Dr. Fate. That's huge. I mean, I've known a little bit about the character Dr. Fate. It's the helmet itself that is Dr. Fate. The wearer is just a vessel. So really it could have been anybody. I'm interested to see how that plays, because we know Black Adam and Shazam, they come from, their powers are gained and wielded by magic. Dr. Fate, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious whether or not there would even be, through development, some Constantine mixed in there.
Well, Zatanna got that. So Zatanna
really?
And is in full, they're bringing in a female director to do Zatanna. Zatanna, we know, is the love interest of John Constantine for a while. Zatanna is also a student of under Dr. Fate. So I think we're going to get our Justice League Dark going on. And
I really hope so, man. I really hope so, especially if we can keep a Batman on cast for a while. We might actually get him involved, because as you know, Zatanna and Batman, they've always had a little thing for each other. So, I mean, that would be huge, especially, I mean, granted, I know Ben has hung up the cowl for now. Appreciate all the hard work, all the time he even went back afterwards to help with the Snyder Cut. But if we can get a Robert Pattinson with a young Zatanna, I'd be okay with them just for whatever reason, having a really old Keanu Reeves as John Constantine, which I still enjoyed that film. It's the best rendition of the devil I've seen. Really? The same universe?
So Peter Stormare, the Satan, the Lucifer from the movie, straight up announced, we're making another
Awesome.
So good. I love him in American Gods too.
Awesome.
And John Wick. He was incredible in all of those.
John Wick, American Gods, and then of course the first movie I think I saw him as a kid, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, Big Lebowski.
Awesome. So him floating down, just dripping in oil, just black oil, that was the best kind of reveal. But so that to me is a big thing, mainly because Pierce Brosnan. I mean, you could have picked anybody for Dr. Fate because it is a helmet.
Yeah.
We just get some no-name guy. I mean, can you name the person who originally was Darth Vader? No, you really can't. You know that voice, right?
Right. You know it's James Earl Jones, but he wasn't the one under the mask.
You know he's the guy who's got the big dog in Sandlot. That's what you got. Whereas this is James Bond, so that voice I think might carry a lot more weight. Maybe that's why they went the Pierce Brosnan route, is because he does kind of possess that with his voice. He possesses that little bit of extra to kind of cast his presence and his confidence on the watcher. So hopefully that doesn't get really kind of crazy where they just hire a bunch of really famous people and the movie goes to shit.
No, I like that they're kind of bringing in no names. We got somebody I should have brought up the cast list, but we have a relatively not unknown actor, but a relatively newer actor who's playing Carter Hall, Hawkman. In the movie. And then we have, they're bringing in the JSA, which is really cool. I mean, we haven't seen a modern portrayal of the Justice Society of America, which is a big deal. And Dr. Fate being a part of that, Hawkman being another part of that. And Hawkman plays a lot into the Black Adam and Shazam lore, being Egyptian and all of that. So, I mean, I'm super stoked for this movie. I love The Rock and anything he does. And I'm really excited to see him play Black Adam.
It's so even to tie in a little bit of video game lore. Recently, there was a big Fortnite event. Season 6, Chapter 2 came around, and a character called the Foundation shows up. He's big, he's beefy. Some might say this similar build of the Rock, the Foundation, the Rock.
Yeah.
He's got a weird like porthole on his chest, a circle, just like maybe the Rock. Half of his outfit is one color, just like the tats from the Rock. It's definitely a nice little callback. But to your point, the Rock is now he's gone beyond obviously his early years of football. He's gone into the movies, and wrestling was huge success for him to launch his platform. But now he's almost King Midas when everything he touches is turning to gold. So like even the Young Rock show, I'm excited because I think he's taking onus on this character of Black Adam as well as the production of this movie. And I think he is the kind of person that could probably grab the bull by the horns and say, all right, DCEU, you've been trudging along, you got some wins along the way.
Right.
People like some of your movies. Well, I'm gonna force this one to be the best one it can be.
Yeah. It's gonna be, I'm excited. Yeah. I just want to see him and Zachary Levi square off in Shazam too.
It's to me, it's funny because you're like, man, those two being in the same movie and squaring up seems so weird. If on paper, Zachary Levi, Chuck versus The Rock, huh? And then you're like, but that's the freaking point, though. It's freaking Billy Batson versus Black Adam. So it's perfect. I mean, you couldn't have made the matchup better. Yeah. So speaking of the DCEU, I love segues that work. The release of the Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But like that whole movie is so interesting to me because we had the David Ayer Suicide Squad, which was universally panned as being terrible. A lot of controversy behind that movie. David Ayer says there's a cut out there that's a lot darker, that's a lot better, very similar in vein to the Snyder cut. We're probably never going to see that, unfortunately.
I think the CEO of HBO said that they're not going to put any money into the cut, meaning it does exist.
Right.
They're alluding to it. They're just like, no, we're not doing it.
So James Gunn does no wrong. Like,
well, he's like 3 tweets short of doing no wrong.
I would say in his movies, he probably does no wrong. Maybe in his social media, he should cool it. But coming off from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, where he took characters that nobody really gave a shit about. I mean, let's be honest. How many people knew about Star-Lord before Guardians of the Galaxy? And now how many people care about those characters? And for him to come in with a complete ensemble cast of characters in Suicide Squad that are just a bunch of misfit villains, I think is really awesome. And I'm really excited for that. And that trailer made me really want to watch that movie.
I mean, it does all the right things. And I think if we're bringing up Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's definitely like James Gunn's big claim to fame, but that trailer felt, if we're being honest, it felt like a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. Right? We had an older song in a newer kind of way. Things are happening to the beat, like I loved every bit of it though. It's a formula, but it's my formula and I'll take it every way I can get it. Like that whole trailer was amazing. Just the little jabs, a little bit of insight. And it's funny, I showed it to the marketing department the other half, and I was like waiting for her to say, Jesus, are they going to show us the whole movie? And it was almost to the very end before she said it. She usually says it every time there's a trailer more than 30 seconds. But she was hooked and into it from the get-go. That opening sequence when they're in the car, they're like planning to rescue Harley Quinn. They're about to scale the building, and suddenly she's just there like, what's up? Mouth bleeding, holding a golden rod, or a golden staff. Like that to me, just like, okay, we're not taking ourselves seriously. Let's go.
I mean, shout out to Margot Robbie. Like, first of all, overcoming Suicide Squad, the original, and then coming in doing Birds of Prey, which I loved. Birds of Prey. I actually just watched it this weekend again with my brother who hadn't seen it. And
I see you.
McGregor as Black Mask is so entertaining.
I see you. Yeah, my brother hasn't seen it. Anybody else on the block hasn't seen it? Want to watch it with me? Okay, I see you.
So for her to overcome that and just be continuously cast in that role, and for her to just kill it, she's so good as Harley Quinn. She's perfect,
dude. She's Australian, right? Like
she's Australian.
Crazy. It's I mean, to me, the fact that she's kind of got that accent, and granted, it is a over the top accent.
Yeah,
but it works because this person is shit, and it's just if it doesn't sound really real, it's because she's crazy, right? Like,
right.
it's okay. We love that little bit, and then you've got Idris Elba and Nathan Fillion slipped in there. Who, granted, Firefly alum, so he's been a part of an ensemble cast before.
Yeah.
So he's in there. We've got Peter Capaldi, aka the Doctor, with what looks like sonic screwdrivers coming out of his head already. So I mean, we got Sylvester Stallone
as King Shark. King Shark is so good.
It's like, again, it feels formulaic because it's like, I am Groot, and now you've got hands, right? Like, it's perfect. I don't care. Just give me. There's a formula that works. Look at Baby Yoda. He doesn't say a damn thing, and look at all the merchandise you buy. You give me Sylvester Stallone playing a shark, nums, and just eats a dude, and then
rips one in half.
Dude, have you seen a normal green band trailer? I've only seen the red band.
That's it. That's the only trailer I think exists. And I think that awesome. So one thing we do gotta keep in mind is that don't get attached to most of these characters because they're all dead. Most of them are dead.
I got a strong feeling that Michael Rooker, Nathan Fillion ain't making it past the first 15 minutes.
No, they're definitely dead. John Cena is a good bet to stick around because I think they're doing an HBO show about his character.
Really?
Yeah. King Shark will stick around. I don't know. Did you watch Harley Quinn, the animated show?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you got to give that a shot because King Shark's in that is played by Ron Funches. And
how do I know that name?
He's oh my gosh. Did you watch Undateable with Chris D'Elia before his
cancellation? Oh, Ron Funches. Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, I
just watched him in Cicada, like 3031 or 20, whatever the movie that was.
He's King great. Shark in the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's so good.
That's awesome. Okay, so I appreciate that.
So I'm super excited for Suicide Squad. I think that's going to be a really fun movie. Starro being the villain,
which I thought was a giant gummy bear, like a gummy worm thing at first. Like I just saw like a multicolored, like texturized tentacle thing.
It's like giant Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I just like, what is this? And then you realize it's Starro, who's the original villain for the Justice League. Like, what a throwback!
Huge. I mean, he's a big villain. He's one of the strongest psychics in the entire universe, and I mean, causes a lot of shit for the Justice League and plays a lot into the Green Lantern lore. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about for the DC universe coming up.
For sure, and I'm curious how they're going to play off, Deadshot not being in this one. I doubt they're going to kill off Will Smith's character. I mean, that's just stupid. But I want to see who these other people are. I mean, there's plenty of like pictures online and the whole cast and all that, but like I just can't wait to see how they fit together. Like we've seen the shots. There's only a couple of people in a couple different scenes, and with Peter Capaldi on the roof, Idris Elba and Rick, what's his name?
Rick Flag, yeah.
He's up there with them, like that little group of people, but that's clearly part of the opening scene because of location and outfits. But I want to see, where this beach that has all these dicks that John Cena's going to be eating for liberty.
Already, so, he's like, if I had to eat a whole beach full of dicks
for liberty,
I'd do it. And like Harley Quinn, like if you got personalized license plate, you die.
You're dead.
You cough without covering your mouth, you
die. No, that's not an open invitation to cough without covering
your mouth.
I don't like this. Did they write that during COVID or before COVID? Because
it's very much. It seems like an R-rated version of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm completely here for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and plus you've got carryover, right? Sylvester Stallone is King Shark. He was a part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yep.
And then you got Michael Rooker, obviously, and I'm hoping James Gunn's brother typically slips in as like a role in most of his movies.
Yeah.
Hoping he's playing that weird squirrel thing.
That would be super funny.
Wolf licking the glass, like that's just a great. Hey, he's in it. It's kind of like
Sean
Ron
Gunn is in
Howard and his
Gilmore
brother, you
Girls?
know? What?
He's like a main character in Gilmore Girls.
It's so random.
My wife was watching it. Like, my wife loves that show, and she was watching it, and I was like, that's Sean Gunn. That's James Gunn's brother. And
He's
he's like
got
a
one of those
mainstay,
faces.
a regular on that show. It's crazy.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
That's
it's weird.
bizarre. All right, so leading off Sylvester Stallone, I think action heroes, right? When I think action heroes, like I got a couple people in mind. I got Tom Cruise, I got Patrick Swayze, and then we've got Charlie Sheen from Hot Shots, Major League a little bit. Charlie Sheen, I think of Michael Sheen, I think of Emilio Estevez.
And there you go. You just I was like, where are you going with this?
I'm going on I'm taking you on a trip here. I've been listening to the Victory of the podcast. Charlie Sheen was just on there last week talking to the guys, and it reminded me Emilio Estevez. If you could look more like his dad and not age, you'd be Emilio Estevez. I don't know where the names would come from, why he's Estevez and not Sheen. I don't care. It's awesome because this week Disney Plus released the season premiere of the Mighty Ducks Game Changer show, and it was straight nostalgia for me. Granted, it is a children's show, okay? It's for kids, for preteens, and the will to fight, to overcome odds. It's fine. I like it. I love it. I'll take it. Speaking of Gilmore Girls, the mom from Gilmore Girls plays like the leading lady of the show. We're coming full circle today.
We're all about it. Bringing it together.
I'm going to tell you right now, the more this keeps happening, the more that I start seeing all the lines connect, the more I'm going to know there's just a machine learning algorithm out there, artificial intelligence, just realizing what we want. Okay, you know who they haven't seen in a while? Emilio Estevez, Coach Bombay. Let's make a new Mighty Ducks, because it was awesome to kind of see just a little bit of the callbacks to the original. I even just kind of spooled up the first one on Disney Plus just to kind of remind myself what happened to that character. Of course, the very beginning, Gordon's out there trying to get his penalty shot to win, which starts the whole thing, and he misses, hits the post, goes off, and oh no, we didn't win. The shot was to win the game, by the way. If he makes it, they win. That means if he doesn't make it, they're tied. So keep playing. It's called overtime. Like, I don't understand why that movie had such a weird beginning, but I whatever. You know what? I was like 9. So I didn't really need a lot of logic in it. But fast forward, Mighty Ducks, this definitely was a fun one. If you're not watching it and getting a kind of a little bit of a glimpse, if you didn't feel the same kind of way you felt at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, where the certain person shows up in an X-Wing, spoilers, then you're not breathing. Like, you just didn't watch those movies. I never played hockey. I lacked the ankle and knee strength to be able to do that on the ice.
Yeah.
I watched a friend of mine, but I am fall straight on his forehead, thought he was 5 years old. We were 14 at the time. I'm cool with that. I don't need to answer the question, could I have been good at hockey? I don't need it. But this show is great.
I will say, here's my only concern with shows like this. Don't remake The Sandlot. Don't give me a sequel to The Sandlot.
You think this is a doorway? It's a gateway to
don't do it.
Ruining.
I don't need to see what Squints and what Schwartz is up. All of these kids are up to. I know that Squints was in a Logic video like a couple years back with
really
the Logic video. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, is jacked now. I mean, he's
is jacked. Yeah, I do know that.
Huge. I don't know what Wendy Peppercorn looks like anymore. You know what James Earl Jones looks like? The same. He looks like a king.
He's looked the same since 1980. But I don't remember the Mighty Ducks as much as I remember movies like The Sandlot or The Big Green, which was the soccer version of The Sandlot and had the same kid from The Sandlot in it as the goalie. But I have a problem with the Mighty Ducks because I kept getting referred to as Goldberg as a kid because I was like the one brown kid in the group.
I could see how that would happen. So I mean, on behalf of all the rest of us that probably called you that, I'm sorry. Especially considering what happened to that guy later on. He had a rough tough time with drugs.
He seems to be coming back, but I'm definitely going to give it a
Yeah.
shot. I have watched the Mighty Ducks recently over the last couple of years just to kind of just to see it, because I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out. I'm excited to check it out.
It's definitely, if you got nothing else to watch, throw it on. It's definitely worth the go. It's really just nostalgia. If you're going for like really deep story, that's not where you want to go. If you want to go for deep story, take your time, hit rewind, back it up a couple of menu prompts, and go to this next topic: the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. You like those transitions?
Dude,
They're
let's
smooth,
just
like butter, like butter.
It's like a wave.
Let it wash over you. Let it wash over you. This episode, okay, I was wrong. Public apology. I would like to apologize to the fictional character, the U.S. agent, the new Captain America, whatever we want to call him, Jonathan Walker. Sorry, man, you're not a white supremacist. First 16 seconds of that episode, he's got a black wife. He's got a black best friend. He went to a HBCU. I was wrong.
So real quick, let's bring something.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for saying how good I was at saying how wrong I was. Okay, I was wrong.
This was Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four reboot all over again, because everybody said, why is Johnny Storm black? Is he adopted? Why Johnny Storm's a white guy? And then it comes out that no, Kate Mara as Sue Storm is adopted, and Johnny Storm is the actual Johnny Storm.
Yep.
So no, the guy who plays U.S. agent, the new Captain America, makes it really easy to hate him. He's really good. Yeah. Really easy to hate him, because you're like, man, Chris Evans is incredible. You got Bucky, who's going through all this shit with, him trying to make amends, and then he has this guy shoved down his face, and he's pissed off at Sam for giving up the shield. And there's a lot to unpack in this episode, and I'm glad we're talking about it, because I think the first episode was great. I liked the introduction of Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes coming back from the blip, the end of Endgame, kind of dealing with the repercussions of Captain America no longer being in the United States. And then we get them back together in this episode 2. And their chemistry is incredible. I don't understand it. It's like this buddy cop movie that I'm just here to watch.
It's buddy cop, because you got one guy who's conflicted with his trauma, and then you got the other, and now he's all closed off, and he's righteous because he knows he was so wrong. He's so sure what's not right, because he did all the wrong things. And then you've got Sam, who just wants to be a good guy, and he knows he's made the right choice for himself and for the people around him, and nobody's listening. Like, he's not being heard. Like, every time he tries to explain, I chose the right thing, people are just like, no, you didn't. My opinion's better than yours. And he's just, I feel for Sam, because that's what I have Twitter for, is to yell the things I know I'm right about and nobody to listen. But, he's a freaking Avenger, and nobody's listening.
It's insane. There's a lot in this episode that really is poignant for the time that we're living in right now. You have the whole scene of him going to see essentially the black Captain America, who's been in jail for 30 years.
Right. Isaiah Bradley, who's famous for being the first black Captain America, who actually went to go fight and stole Captain America's original outfit, fought, and then was arrested for stealing the outfit and imprisoned for 30 years. Stole a suit, went to jail for 30 years. Little fucking unfair. So to say that he has the right to be crotchety is an under fucking statement.
And you got his grandson, who is
Eli Bradley,
which is really great, because you have he plays Patriot in the comic books, the New Avengers. So you have this, like, these threads kind of opening up, and then you have a scene that hits home so hard after that, where he's out there and him and Bucky are having an argument, and the cop comes up, immediately assumes that Sam's the problem because he's black. And it's just you see a lot of shows doing this right now, where they're kind of saying, hey, this is an actual problem, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to throw it in your face. Sam Wilson saved the world over and over and over again. Okay. Was gone for 5 years. Man can't get a line of credit. Gets talked to like he's a celebrity, but then is profiled and then goes through this whole thing with the cops. And then it takes a cop to say, hey, that's the Falcon.
Right.
For him
Right.
to be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Gotta
Not,
be
hey,
another.
hey, I'm sorry for profiling you being the problem. But no,
Yeah.
you're an Avenger. My bad.
It takes another white guy, another white cop to say, hey man. Like he's literally saying everything's fine. So is the person that he's talking to. He's having, I don't even want to call it an argument. More
No,
like
just a conversation.
combative camaraderie, just with bass in their voice. But like that to me, I really want to say good job to the writers of this show who are just like, no, we're not going to not talk about it. Like here it is, and they're holding it in front of your face and making you watch it. Like
Well, I mean,
if you
he's
care
rightfully
about these
pissed
characters,
off.
you need to be watching this, and if you care about our country as a whole, you can't turn a blind eye to it. So you can't just go on enjoying your Marvel shit without
Yeah.
realizing the truth of the situation we're in.
Marvel has done a really good job, and I will say this over what DC has done. Marvel's done a really good job over the last 10 to 15 years of starting to include minorities, the LGBTQ community inside of their repertoire, inside of their catalog.
Hell yeah.
You have Miles Morales, okay? Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Growing up, if I had Miles Morales as a Spider-Man, that would be the best. He's my favorite superhero now, but he's been my favorite superhero forever. You mean a Spider-Man who was half black, half Hispanic, from New York,
that not only is he Spider-Man, he can turn invisible and electrify things,
but he's a Spider-Man that looks like me. I mean, not exactly like me, but he's a Spider-Man that looks like
you can work out, you get there. I got you, bro.
Right. You have a lot of representation in the LGBTQ community with
for sure.
I always forget, it's Hulkling, and I think it's not Morningstar. There was a huge like wedding, gay wedding that happened in the Marvel universe that was this big deal, and it was really awesome, and they made a really big spectacle out of it and everything, and we're starting to get that inclusion, and inclusion is important, and especially with everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter thing and with all of these Asian hate crimes that keep coming up. It's more important to let those voices be heard. It's so much more important. And for Sam Wilson, who just came out of a meeting where he found out there was a black Captain America.
Yeah. And
that
nobody has ever heard of it. Yeah.
Right. To go directly to what happened with that cop is just, I mean, it's right on the nose, and it just hits you in the face, and it's really refreshing to see all that.
Yeah. No, I think, just to reiterate what you're saying, man, I totally agree. And I think even though there's only 4 episodes, I think, left in this little season, I hope they keep pressing that and keep pushing it where they can and where they should, because it's not something we should turn a blind eye to. And I think if we can continue to talk about it, even in our artistic forms like this, then we can talk about it more comfortably at home amongst ourselves.
Oh yeah. So let's lighten the mood.
Oh, I was in a deep place, bro.
Really talk about the buddy cop comedic side of this episode. I mean, from the therapist meeting where Bucky and Sam have to be like, they're like
they're knee tip to dick tip. Yeah, they're just like they are about as close as I'm physically able to get to my pregnant wife right now, which is just like belly button to belly button, just like, oh, this feels.
Oh, it was so
just staring at each other's eyes. I'm sorry, that psychiatrist, fantastic. Yeah, therapist, whatever she is, whatever her job is, she is doing a great job. The actress is killing it with just like the no sass, no bullshit, and then like throwing jabs at them because of her military background. She's got she's got that little bit of sailor mouth to her. I like her. Yeah. I hope she keeps it up. And I'm glad to see that Bucky is just the same dickhead kind of Bucky. Granted, not as polite and playful as he was with Steve Rogers, but he's still giving it back to Sam, and Sam's throwing it back at him. Even when they're after they get their asses handed to them by the other super soldiers on the top of, granted, which is a wild scene, I mean,
Yeah.
they're careening down the street. You know, you got Sam flying in and out. They're on top of semi trucks. You've got the new Captain America and his BFF rolling in, and then they get their asses kicked off of those trucks. Things continue to move on, and they're just kind of sauntering down the street, talking shit to each other. And he's like, "Oh, I can see the gears turning. Oh, talking about the cyborg brain that Bucky's got."
Right. So
I love that whole interaction.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I just
And
love
then,
where
of
he's talking to U.S. Agent, and like U.S. Agent, he's like, "You ever jump on a grenade?" And he's like, "Yeah, 4 times.
4
I
times.
used my thing with the shield." And then he's like, "So what's your name?" And he's like, "Battlestar." And Bucky's like, "Stop the car. I'm out."
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's like, I think even in the comic, that guy ends up being called Bucky. Like later on, he takes the mantle of Bucky, which is ridiculous. But so like, to me, yeah, it's great though. I mean, even when he gets him out of jail, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing this. Like, there's not going to be any team up here. You guys can go where you guys can't go where you can't go. We don't have those limitations. We're out." And it was kind of like the first moment that I kind of maybe mentally, consciously recognized that he identified it as we, and not like I and this guy. He acknowledged the team there. And it's granted, it was just right after their little makeup stare contest in jail. But this episode, from the beginning to the end, was just jam-packed with details. The only thing I didn't like about the episode, I have to say, was like the Flag Smashers, whatever that little organization is. I liked the chick who's leading the organization. I liked her from, I believe it was the Solo film for Star Wars. She plays a great kind of anti-hero where she's the bad guy. So she ends up being the head of Infant's Nest, who is trying to steal all this fuel from Woody Harrelson. And
I did not realize that was her.
Yeah, and at the end, she takes her mask off. Now guess what?
Right.
It's another Disney thing with a mask off.
Yeah.
It's her. I feel like, I mean, I think that role worked. They're like, "Oh, hey, this person, they got to be like physically fit and wear a mask 20% of the time." I got her. I got something. The casting director's like, "I'm making easy money today." Like, it's just a no-brainer. They're picking up that phone and making that call. I think that the banter back and forth, like one world, one nation, one people, whatever, it felt soft.
It does.
Soft.
I'm ready for Zemo. Like, I'm ready for Zemo to come back in. I love Daniel Bruhl.
Yes.
Ever since Inglourious Bastards, I love that actor. He was so good in that. He was
such a dick.
He was
such a dick in Inglourious Bastards.
He was so good at being menacing as Zemo in this, and I'm stoked to see what he's gonna do. I hope that the first interaction between him and Bucky, as he tries to take control of Bucky's mind again by reading the book, and then Bucky just is like, "Nah, dude, that's not gonna work this time."
It makes you wonder if he just got it all memorized. He's just like apples and pineapples and Java squeeze and whatever words he's got to say.
Homecoming.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, like just random shit he's just got to say.
Yeah,
I think that would be the funniest thing if Sam just starts doing it to him, like, "Oh, microphone, keyboard, Gatorade, stop doing that." Like this.
I do agree.
You're under my command now.
I think that the Flag Smashers, it's a little bit, villain of the week thing to me. I would really like to see. I would really like to see them really take the Isaiah Bradley, his grandson, possibly becoming Patriot. Yes. We have U.S. Agent. I don't think he's going to stick around. They're not going to allow this guy to just be Captain America. Right. Something's going to happen, or he's just going to be a bad guy. One of those things. And I would love to see the end of this show, Sam taking that shield and giving it to Isaiah Bradley's grandson. And for that to be a new, hey, we're going to start the new Avengers with Patriot, and he's going to be the new symbol for America. And I think that right now in this climate, I think that would be a great way to kind of bring that inclusion back into it. I'm super excited. I think the show is going to be awesome. I love that show.
I think so. I mean, to correct me if I'm wrong. With Eli Bradley joining in, potentially as like a recurring character, that kind of rounds out the Young Avengers, right? So you got Eli Bradley, you've got Hawkeye's daughter, right? So that's another one.
Not daughter. It's his ward, kind of like his Robin. It's not his daughter. Kate Bishop isn't his daughter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's his like.
I'd say the age difference is stark. Stark. No pun intended.
I can't wait for that show because I love Haley Steinfeld. Yeah. Ever since Pitch Perfect, she's.
I was gonna say Pitch Perfect. It's the only thing I know her from.
Yeah,
has she been in other things? I don't know. She maybe besides like makeup ads.
She's gonna be great as Kate.
So we've got Kate Bishop. We've got Eli Bradley. I'm trying to think of who else might be. The twins. Granted, the twins aren't really real anymore from WandaVision. So who knows?
Yeah,
how
you
got. Play out.
Is it? I can't remember the speedster. Is it Silver and Wiccan? I know Wiccan is the other boy.
And then like Speed or something like.
Speed, yeah, something like that.
Not incredible name, yeah. So like, hey, what do you want to? You're fast. Okay, what do you want to be called?
Right. Quick.
All right.
Quick stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we've got those pieces moving in, which is kind of great. But fight scenes that this show is starting to, I think so I heard some other show was talking about it. Like there's just a lot more violence in this than say, if you were watching WandaVision, you're like, oh, it's another Marvel thing. We should watch it. Come here, Billy. And then you're just seeing people get just jacked up. This is definitely a little bit more violent. Speaking of violence, this week.
Tomorrow? No, Wednesday.
By the time this comes out, it should be tomorrow. So I'm going to try to keep to that schedule. Godzilla versus Kong. I'm Team Kong, but it's mainly because I look like a gorilla. When this black shirt comes off, it looks like I'm still wearing it. I'm just a hairy dude, just head to toe fur. So like it's granted, I got a lizard brain too, so it's kind of I'm conflicted, but the dude, he's got an axe with a huge glowing gem the size of a building.
Yeah.
You've got tools. How do you not beat Lizard? Like even in Kong Skull Island, which is this the same Kong? He was a baby Kong. In that.
It's the same. All these Godzilla Kong movies that have come out since like late 2000, like 2012, 2011.
Yeah.
They're all the same
one
universe. Yeah.
So like that Kong was a baby then, and he was beating up little lizard monsters then. So this is just like a bigger one. He's just like, oh sweet, they grew bigger. I'm gonna take out this one now. And he's so big now compared to granted, he wasn't small back then either, jacking up Samuel L. Jackson. So now he's like, with Captain Marvel and Loki, by the way. Don't think I didn't catch that casting director. People. Like, hey, you guys aren't in a Marvel movie right now? Sweet. I really need you.
In my movie.
All right, cool. Sounds great. Click. But I mean, so we got that coming up. I think I'm not looking for great story.
No,
they're going to spend too much time saying Kong loves little girl, touch little girl on finger with big finger. Saw that in the trailer. If you can give me just like 2 minutes of that and we're back to like hitting each other with buildings and big large boats. I just want to see like just huge robot fighting. Like it's got to be like Batman, Superman, right? Batman, Superman. It's Batman versus Superman. What do you think is going to happen? I bet they come to an agreement to fight something else.
Well, you saw that something else in the trailer.
I haven't seen the last trailer. It's Mechagodzilla, right?
Mechagodzilla's in the last trailer.
Is it built by Monarch?
We don't know.
Who built it?
All you see is like the fingers, for
really?
And the eye, the red eye. And you're like, all right, this is going to be sweet. This is going to be super sweet. I'm in.
Perfect. If they do a little high five in the end, I wouldn't be upset about it. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong. This coming week, that's a big one. We've got what else we got for next time?
So we have the 82nd anniversary is Batman, like the character. Detective Comics is tomorrow.
Oh wow! Hey, I know you're always packing. What you got? Let me see that arm.
Oh
hey,
yeah.
Do you think he likes Batman, folks? You think we're fans of Batman?
My man is Crocs. It's Batman Crocs.
Yeah, bro. Branded all the time. All the time.
So
yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong is the main thing. The next big HBO Max movie after that is Mortal Kombat in April. Which,
Nice.
boy, let me tell you who's excited for Mortal Kombat. This guy.
I really hope the effects deliver. I really hope it's. I haven't seen a movie just with like random boom mics in a long time. I hope
Yeah.
this Mortal Kombat's not one of those.
So we got Mortal Kombat, and then in Marvel news, Black Widow got delayed to July, but it is coming to Disney Plus as well as theaters.
So that's coming in, but in July it's coming what, $30, right? Like it's not going to be.
They're doing the Mulan thing where I think it's like $20 or $30.
Oh, guess what?
TV.
$30. By then I'll have the jab. Me and Michelle going to the movies. Or one of us is going to take turns watching the baby, and I'll go by my damn self. That's okay. I'll be by myself in the theater. I've done it before. I just don't want to jinx the movie. I think the last time I was at a movie by myself was Green Lantern. So we know how that ended.
Green Lantern's my favorite superhero of all time. My favorite DC hero of all time is Green Lantern, and they haven't done
one. Which one?
Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner's the best one.
That's my man. That's why I like
the artist. He's the one that has the most potential.
That's why I like you, Don.
No, we can't get into Green Lantern.
Like
we'll talk about Green Lantern for the next 4 hours.
Yes. But, there's only one who can handle all the powers of every light spectrum.
All the light spectrum, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, we have Godzilla.
Sorry about the clap, folks at home.
That's going to be the next big one, and then I think it's pretty quiet. We still have Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out on Fridays.
Mighty Ducks episode 2.
Mighty Ducks. And then the gaming news is going to start to ramp up. You know, you got rumblings of a new Nintendo Switch being announced, the Switch Pro with a 4K display. If you are a Destiny 2 player, the new season drops in May, so that's a big deal. A lot of information regarding the Call of Duty Black Ops Warzone Season 2 information is starting to drop out there. So there's a lot. There's going to be a lot. We're getting into like the game announcement season. You know, as we get into June, even though everything is still going virtual with E3, all of that's still going to happen over the next 3 to 4 months. So a lot to be excited for.
I'm definitely, I mean, the more I started to trickle my toe back into these kind of things, I'll be honest, movies, TV shows, nerd culture, that's really easy because it's, you know, when I was growing up, that's what we got from the store, comic books and things came on movie and VHS, that's easy, bar none. But it's harder for me to get back into the video game thing. But what I'm trying to do right now is understand the state of eSports and understand competitive gameplay. And right now, I think the thing, and this is, no spoilers by any means. I'm trying to put these pieces together because right now it just feels like the Wild West, right? Obviously, each game itself has its own set of rules and its own universe. It's like trying, you know, it's the difference between football and basketball. Granted, the word ball is in there. Don't get me wrong, there's some similarity, but it is in itself a completely different beast than anything else. And you've got streamers that are mixed in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to kind of define, you know, this amoeba-like organism that is competitive gaming. And what I'm trying to do is at least find not just resources that are the same, that really kind of consistently deliver, you know, information. And if I can't find that, to try to give us the tools to be able to convey that to fans of the show and explain to them where they can go and look to keep up with the latest and greatest. Because if it's hard for me and me, maybe even you, if it's hard for you and for us to keep up with, then how is it going to be easy for a parent that's just getting into it they say they've got a preteen coming up trying to get into competitive gaming, and how is it going to be even without being fully immersed 24/7, you know, like I was when I was 13, 14, every day thinking about this stuff. How can you possibly sift through the sea of information? I think the only bet I found out recently was, I think something like Game Square eSports team just had Jordan Belfort, yes, that one, Wolf of Wall Street joined their advisory board like 4 days ago. And then last night, another member of their board died. No relation, I don't think. I heard he parties hard. I hopefully wasn't a result of that, but that's the random news I'm finding. So
the competitive esports scene is huge, and I mean, like we talked about last week, you have kids winning millions of dollars and coming into this money. When I was into competitive esports in the early 2000s, like 2005, 2005 to about 2010, it was Halo 2. It was Halo 3. It was Gears of War. Even World of Warcraft had a competitive, like Major League Gaming was big back then. And now you have Fortnite, which is enormous. I mean, Fortnite is a multi-billion-dollar game, and Fortnite comes from the same company who did Gears of War. But Fortnite has kept Epic Games in green and will keep Epic Games in green forever. Then you have things like Overwatch. Overwatch is huge in the competitive scene right now, kind of like that spiritual successor to Counter-Strike.
Right.
Being that kind of class-based shooter that people look for and people love playing, and you have professional teams out of states that are calling out of cities, just like basketball teams. And then even the Counter-Strike team has evolved into Valorant, and Valorant is that essentially Counter-Strike spiritual successor made by Riot, who does League of Legends, which is in itself a multi-billion-dollar thing. So I mean, there's a lot to unpack, and I think that over the next couple of months, as we do this, you're going to hear a lot more about these major events that are going on.
Well, hopefully we can be the ones to deliver it to you. So well, once again, thank you again. This is me, Ernie, your host of the show.
And I'm Dom,
your other host. We got to work on
show.
that. We got to work on that.
We do.
Yeah. So Ernie Hawkins at Ernie UXD on social.
Dominic Urban at Eldiza on social.
Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, ring the bell. I don't know. I keep watching shows that ring the bell.
Smash that like button. I think
smash the like button.
Smash the like button.
Smash that like button. See you next time. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tom.